welcome. As part of my tidying up, I thought to open the book, Dispelling Wetiko, Breaking the Curse of Evil, a book which Sting says the world would be a better place if everyone read this book, and I agree. And it's by Paul Levy, and after the automatic writing I did with my Poppa-Rex explaining that this book will be much easier for me to read now, I opened it to this page where I had last left the bookmark and read this. Alien Intrusion. Speaking in his own language about the predation of the Wetiko virus, the Yaqui Indian spiritual teacher Don Juan of the Carlos Castaneda books mentions that the ancient Mexican shamans called this the topic of topics. Don Juan explains, "We have a companion for life. We have a predator that came from the depths of the cosmos and took over the rule of our lives. Human beings are its prisoners. The predator is our Lord and Master." This sounds just like the state of affairs being pointed at in the Bible when, for example, the Gospel of John refers to the devil as the ruler of this world. 14:30 and 16:11. The Gospel of Luke has the devil say that the kingdoms of the world are under his control. That's 4, 5, and 6. The first epistle of John says that the whole world lies under the power of the evil one, and Paul speaks of Satan as the god of this world. The Gnostic Gospel of Philip, talking about the root of evil that lies within all of us, makes the similar point that unless this evil is recognized, it masters us. We are its slaves. It takes us captive. Speaking about the evil predator, Don Juan continues, "It has rendered us docile, helpless. If we want to protest, it suppresses our protest. If we want to act independently, it demands that we don't do so." It is striking how Don Juan's description of the effects of this predator is being enacted in our increasingly militarized society, as our freedoms and liberties get taken away step by step. It is as if an inner, invisible state of affairs existing as a yet unrealized archetypal pattern deep within the soul of humanity is revealing itself by materializing in, as, and through the outside world. To quote Don Juan, "Indeed we are held prisoner. This is an energetic fact for the sorcerers of ancient Mexico. Most of us can relate to this energetic fact, that there is something within us that stops us from expressing our true creative genius and attaining our full potential. These predators are time bandits, consuming the precious hours of our lives as if we are wage slaves doing time on a prison planet." Deepening his description of these predators, Don Juan elaborates, "They took over because we are food for them. We are their sustenance. Just as we rear chickens in chicken coops, Galineros, the predators, rear us in human coops, Humaneros. The Wetiko virus particularly flourishes in overpopulated cities where people are cooped up. As history shows us again and again, when we buy into groupthink and are enlisted as members of the herd, we become like cattle who are being raised by our leading psychopaths to be used in the service of their sinister agenda." Don Juan continues, "The predators give us their mind, which becomes our mind. It is as if these predators are in competition with us for a share of our own mind. The predator shapeshifts and assumes our form, and if we are unaware of its masquerade, we will identify its invasive thought forms and act them out, as if they were our own. We will mistakenly believe that we are acting on our own impulses, with our best interests in mind. This predator, Don John asserts, fears that any movement is its maneuver. Fears that any moment its maneuver is going to be uncovered and food is going to be denied. The Wetiko predator has an inner necessity, a brute compulsion born of terror, as it continually has to feed itself so as to postpone its ever-approaching death. Don Juan continues, through the mind, which after all is their mind, the predator injects into the lives of human beings whatever is convenient for them, the predators. Cloaking itself in our form, this predator gets under our skin and puts us on as a disguise, fooling us to buy into its false version of who we are. Interestingly, from the Christian's point of view, the true believer is saved only by putting on Christ. This is why the shortened name of malignant egophrenia is ME disease, referring to a distortion of our identity, that is, our sense of meanness. Instead of being in our power and serving ourselves, we unwittingly, which means to be out of our wits, that is, not in our right mind, become the servant of the predator. Instead of being a sovereign being who creates with our own thoughts, we will then be created by them, as the predator literally thinks in our place. It is as if the predator is sitting in our seat. We truly need to reoccupy ourselves. Interestingly, such disparate thinkers as Jung and the ethnobotanist Terence McKenna hypothesized that the ET UFO phenomenon might actually be an expression of the psychic fact that we have become so split off from our true self that we can only begin to experience it in the projected form of an alien other. Are the seeming appearances of ET UFOs in the outer world simply an embodied reflection of this inner psychic process, as if an archetypal process deep within the human psyche is being dreamed up into materializing itself through our universe in order to show us something about ourselves? Speaking of the predator's scheme, Don Juan says that it proposes something, it agrees with its own proposition, and it makes you believe that you've done something of worth. It is as if there is an alien other, an extraterrestrial metaphysical entity which is subliminally intruding its mind into ours in such a way that we identify with its point of view and disconnect from our own. Don Juan refers to this situation as a foreign installation, as if some alien race has set up a space station inside of our minds. This is exactly what the Gnostics are pointing at when they talk about alien predators or mind parasites called archons who infiltrate and subvert the workings of our mind. To the extent that we are not conscious of this alien takeover of our psyche, we become drafted into the predator's sinister agenda, unwittingly becoming its slaves. This state of inner psychological warfare is mirrored by the sinister psyops being instituted by the powers that be in the outside world on our own minds. The disease feeds on our unawareness of it. Our task is to discern the predator's mind within ourselves and refuse to be its food. So yes, this book is much less chunky and easier to read and comprehend and understand now that I've spent this time with you, Poppa-Rex. And I'm looking forward to reading more of it. And for any of the words I do not know how to pronounce or comprehend, I will first ask your parents, Peggy and Walter, to come and explain to me in their own words how myself and the world can dispel Wetiko and break the curse of evil. Thank you for that reading. Bye.